So you requested to get some Secret Service, and Secret Service denied you. And here on Twitter or X, they put a community note on your tweet about it. And did you see the note? Well, I'm sure you saw the note.
Yeah.
So the note said, so you say typical turnaround time for a pro forma protection request from presidential candidates is 14 days. After 88 days of no response and after several follow-ups by our campaign, the Biden administration just denied our request. Secretary Mayorkas says, I have determined that Secret Service protection for RFK Jr. is not warranted at this time. And then Twitter says, hey, Secret Service protection must be provided to major candidates within 120 days of the general election. Major candidates are determined by the committee consisting of the House Speaker, House Minority Whip, Senate Majority. But there's more to this. So people are saying, why are you requesting something? They only do it 120 days out of the general. We're way away from that. Well, that's not true. Donald Trump and Ben Carson were provided Secret Service protection a year before the election day in 2015. Barack Obama was provided Secret Service protection 551 days before the election day in 2007. John McCain offered Secret Service 551 days, and Ted Kennedy, your uncle, 410 days before the election in 19.
Yeah, he wasn't even a candidate then. They gave him Secret Service protection prior to being a candidate, and there's a long list. I mean, Shirley Chisholm, Jesse Jackson.
Well, look at the Secret Service that Hunter Biden gets. $30,000 per month for his Malibu mansion to protect Hunter Biden. That was something. And then here he is going to court. Look at the Secret Service that Hunter Biden gets. Hunter Biden gets this kind of Secret Service when he has to go to court. And
yeah, I mean, John Bolton gets that, and he hasn't been in government for like a decade or something.
Really, I didn't know that. No, Bolton was in Trump's.
The Secret Service, by the way, was very, very supportive when we talked to them, and I think they assumed we were going to get it. And they told us they have 8 teams that are ready to go, that are already trained, for expecting 8 political or presidential candidates. And they were incredible. They were really professional and very, very supportive. And it was. But then, and they said that we would have an answer in 10 days, and then they said 14 days, and then 88 days later, we finally got that letter from they went dark for 88 days, and then we got that letter from Secretary Mayorkas without any, they didn't show us the Secret Service risk assessment, and they don't even say whether those senators actually had anything to say about it. They just said, we're not going to give it to you. And I think,
why do you think they don't want to give it to you? I have an idea, but what do you think?
I don't know. It's impossible. I mean, I guess the sort of the least malevolent interpretation would be that the DNC knows that I'm going to have to spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars on my own protection.
Oh, okay.
And that is going to be that's going to be revenues that I won't be able to spend, paying campaign staff and running advertisements.
Oh, so that's okay. Okay, that makes sense.
I would say that's that, but who knows? I don't know because they didn't tell us. But listen, we gave them 67 pages. I get death threats all the time. Last week, I had a mentally ill person do a home invasion.
No kidding.
Because of my presidential campaign. I came into my home and got up to the 2nd floor.
Really?
Yeah. And 4 other mentally ill people who are now, who my private security group has now either pushed away or is tracking, or people who are who they consider a threat. One of the things that we handed to them is, if you go through my Twitter, right, or any of my social media sites, there's a persistent theme. I would say maybe 1 out of every 20, 25 comments. Okay, I'm guessing. And I think if you went on there, particularly during certain periods, are people saying, you better wear a bulletproof vest, you better not go near the grassy knoll, you better, they're going to kill you, et cetera, et cetera. Because of my family history, you have a broad swath of the American public who understands that, yeah, there is a risk for me in doing this enterprise, and yet somehow somebody in the White House has made a determination that that's not a risk. And I get death threats all the time, which is not unusual for me. I've gotten those all of my life, and I get very, very sort of violent, menacing communications from the public at all the time. Oh, I think it's a cynical decision, and it's clearly a political decision. It's not a
legit risk assessment, right?
Yeah, it's not a genuine risk assessment.
Come see our live shows. We're going to be in Chicago, Rosemont, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, New York City, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Stamford, Toronto, Toledo, Detroit, St. Louis, and more. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.